Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm the water boy, Derek Master.
This is Green Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and Derek nicknames himself after Adam Sandler movies. Next week, he is going to be Billy Madison.
Well,
why'd you call
mine
yourself
actually,
the water boy?
well, because we had a pipe burst in our basement over
Oh,
the weekend.
man.
So, got a couple of things wet. I could have said I was the wet bandit, Master.
Nice.
Could have. Without explaining them, none of them would have made sense.
That is true. I don't like
How
to
are
give
you
too
guys
much
doing?
away. It gives away the mystery.
Yeah, you like to keep that mystery going. I understand. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. Had a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, so did I. How about you, Derek?
I'm gonna go with a 68 on 1,000 schedule or scale.
So, wow, it went that bad, huh?
No, it's more like a 92.
So it just went all right. It just went all
I'm
right.
somehow thinking you're padding that number because you just said 68 on 1,000. So.
Oh, it's still out of 1,000. It's just a 92.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, so not very good. Okay.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
We had a good one. I actually saw Lydia on Thanksgiving at my parents' house. That was fun. Got to watch the Cowboys win. It's a good time. But enough of that. We're here to talk about aliens, predators, and what happens when they meet. But before we do that, let's get into our favorite part of Screen Bloody Movies, which is the horror news. So, fellas, guys, gals, children of all ages, don't have a whole lot of horror news, but I have some. I'm going to start with this super ass weird one. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. So, the folks that are making that Winnie the Pooh horror movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pooh, Blood and Honey. Their next film is, I don't know if it's exactly them. I think it is. But, no, it's different. But some horror filmmakers are making a Bambi horror film called Bambi the Reckoning, wherein the deer will be a vicious killing machine who lurks in the wilderness.
All right, let's rewind this a little bit, because there are two horror movies that are based off of like children's stories. So one is Pooh, Blood and Honey. There's another one, and I thought that's what
The
you were
mean
saying.
one. The mean one.
Yeah, the mean one, which I would have assumed was all part of like maybe the same studio.
Not. They're all completely different. This one is by director Scott Jeffrey. So he's making, this is a new trend at this point, I guess, which is to just have children's stories be horror films. And I don't know how I feel about this, because I feel like it's kind of, super gimmicky.
1,000% down with this.
I don't know, man. We don't have a release date for this.
The Bambi one sounds stupid.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, well, I think the Winnie the Pooh one sounds stupid too, to be honest.
Right.
The Grinch one has me slightly intrigued because you could see that one at least. Yeah, you could see that one kind of happening. Yeah. I mean, what's next? I mean, I know the Pooh people are talking about doing a Peter Pan one. Peter Pan horror movie. I would think about doing I don't know, there's tons to choose from. What's literally Barney? Where he just bites children's heads off.
Barney the Killer Dinosaur?
Yeah. Why not? Ridiculous. So, guys, this is interesting. We have our first image of Tobin Bell on set of Saw 10. Would you guys like to see it?
Let's see it.
It's being weird. All right, here we go. Here's our first shot of Tobin Bell on the set of Saw 10. There he is. What are you guys' thoughts? He's sitting on a bench. So.
Looks like him really, on a bench.
Yeah, I can't tell too much about it, but hey, at least they have started filming.
Yeah, there he is. I mean, he looks older, obviously, because he is. But what that makes me wonder is, when does this take place in the timeline? So what are you guys' thoughts on Saw 10? I mean, it has to take place. Obviously, it has to be a prequel because John Kramer is dead.
Right.
He's been dead since the third movie.
They could like de-age him or something, you know.
That's what I was kind of thinking. But like, you know, what else is there to do with him?
Yeah, it's hard for me to really give any perspective on this or an opinion because I haven't seen. I think I saw the second one. I might have saw the third one.
You did, like, yeah, with me. We saw it together.
That's it. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones, so I don't know what to think about it.
Lydia, you watched all of these. It has to be a prequel, but like, what more story is there for John Kramer? I mean,
I really never know what to expect going into any of these movies.
No, you don't. You just really don't.
You just have to watch it and find out.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, hope for the best for sure.
If they're de-aging him, maybe that's why he's sitting on the bench. It's about his childhood.
Turn him into a child.
They're de-aging him to 1994 and making him look like Tom Hanks. Because it's actually a prequel to Forrest Gump.
It's like a little old man child.
Yeah.
Benjamin Button style.
Benjamin Button style, yeah. All right, guys. This is interesting. They are making the team behind Never Hike Alone, Womp Stomp Films. You know, Never Hike Alone are the fan Friday the 13th movies. They are making a fan Nightmare on Elm Street movie set after Wes Craven's New Nightmare, starring Miko Hughes as Dylan.
Wow.
And then we have Dave McRae, who is a YouTuber and filmmaker himself, is starring as Freddy in this. And we have screenshots of it, of what Freddy looks like. Are you guys interested in seeing this?
Yes.
Yeah. I knew you would be.
Oh my gosh.
Hang on.
You're going to show us John Kramer just sitting on a bench before you show us Freddy?
Nope, here he is.
Look at that.
Pretty good.
Oh, he looks scary.
Looks pretty good, right?
Ooh.
And then here is Miko Hughes.
Wow.
Handsome son of a bitch these days, isn't he?
Sure.
Look at that beard.
Kind of looks a little bit like Shia LaBeouf there, but...
Yeah, he's got a nice beard going on. So, yeah, Dylan's Nightmare is what it's called. Wow. Dylan's New Nightmare. So, I mean, since we're not getting any real Nightmare on Elm Street stuff going on anytime soon, they might as well fill the void, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean...
I'm excited.
That's going to be pretty cool. It'll probably be released free on YouTube. That's what all of them are. It's been delayed 3 years due to the pandemic. It is scheduled for summer of 2023, and you can still support it in its post-production campaign over on Indiegogo. So, I thought that was pretty cool news.
That is pretty cool. And
yeah,
just from the screenshots, I mean, it looks pretty legit. So
yeah, I mean, they had makeup. I closed the tab, but the makeup effects were done by somebody from Face Off, the Sci-Fi Channel TV series. So a legit, makeup effects artist. And finally, we've got ourselves a new poster for HBO's The Last of Us.
Okay.
Starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Would you guys like to see this?
Yeah, let's see it. I loved her in Game of Thrones, man. She was like the most demanding little actress I'd ever seen.
Yeah. All right, can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
You can? Okay. Here we go. There they are as Joel and Ellie. What do you guys think?
It looks good. I'm interested in this. I want to see this.
Yeah, it should be
I
good.
want to watch it. I played the game, the first one, and although it was kind of hard and I never finished it, the storyline I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that's the game that I did beat. It's a great game. The sequel was good too. It wasn't what I was hoping for, but it was good. So yeah, that is the horror news. What are you guys' thoughts on all of it? Really, I mean, I'm really excited about the Nightmare on Elm Street fan film. I think that'll be cool.
Yeah,
we know that
That's my favorite news of the segment.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Craven Estate has the rights to Freddy, so that's great. They should own the rights to it. And I know they're getting a project together, so eventually we will see Freddy on the big screen again. I have no doubts about that. But until then, it's always good to just whet our appetites with something. These characters are too important to just fade away, in my opinion. So they can never, evil never dies. So, guys, 2 weeks ago, we watched Ridley Scott's Alien. Mm-hmm. Last week, we watched John McTiernan's Predator. This week, we have a step down from filmmakers, to be perfectly frank, but we're watching Paul W.S. Anderson's Alien versus Predator, or as it's affectionately known, AVP. So, Lydia, this was your pick. So tell us your Alien versus Predators history.
I watched it when it came out. I was pretty young and I was so scared, and I just had such a good time watching it. It's always been just one of those ones for me that it's oh yeah, that's a good one. I remember really loving it the first time I watched it.
Derek, you were really young, by the way, Lydia, because this came out in 2004. I was a senior in high school. Derek was in college.
I was. So I definitely went to the movies to see this movie, or to see this. And I mean, it's rare, I think, that you find two franchises independently successful to whatever degree. Predator, maybe not so much as the Alien one, but it's rare that you see them merge, right? And it's really every person who is a fan of movies is always like, oh man, what would happen if this person faced off with this person? And this one answers those questions. And so, yeah, I saw this when it came out, and I've kind of followed it, as it's went over the years. So I was pretty excited about this one. Great pick, Lydia. You did good.
So I watched this when it came out. I didn't see it in the theater. I did not see it in the theater. We rented it when it came out, and I remember watching it at my parents' because I was still in high school or just about to graduate. And so I watched it then, and I liked it. I thought it was fine. And then I watched it, I think, one other time. It was on probably Sci-Fi or something like that. And I watched it again, just checked it out. But I've only seen this a couple times. So this isn't like Alien or Predator, which I've seen dozens of times a piece. This is one that I've only seen a few times. And this watch was almost like a first watch to some degree. I mean, there's bits I remember. I remember the ending. I remembered certain kills, especially certain Alien vs. Predator fights. I remember those. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the other stuff it was kind of fresh. And so I went in with lower expectations because I watched it 20 years ago almost, and then one other time on Sci-Fi Channel. So I was like, I don't remember this being excellent. And it's not excellent, but we'll get into what I thought about it, because it's definitely not bad either. So we're going to get into this one. Plus, the way I watched it tonight was really great. I got a new sound receiver, so I have like the surround sound going on and my 75-inch TV, and it was like being in the theater watching this thing. And I was like, okay, this isn't bad, especially when I compared to other stuff that we'll talk about. So let's get started on this one. This movie is 100% a 2004 movie. Let's start with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And not in a bad way, but it's 100% a 2004 movie.
Yeah.
The pace of it is very early 2000s. The cinematography is pretty early 2000s. But most importantly, some of the hairstyles are... The blonde girl?
Yeah.
I was like, that is the most 2000s haircut I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's like she just got like auditioned for the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix, exactly. It totally felt Matrix hair. Yeah. Like you expected her to like expected her to be like sliding down walls.
Mm-hmm.
Was she in the Matrix?
No. But there's
sure?
the blonde girl in the Matrix that has the same hair. Yeah.
Yeah, they look a lot alike.
Switch is the character's name in the Matrix. But yeah, so I mean, I loved that little bit when I was going through rewatching this. I was like, oh, okay. But the setup of this is actually pretty cool. So let's start off by saying that this movie is not canon to either Alien or Predator. Mm-hmm. It's in its own canon. So you don't have to worry about following the timeline because it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
They try to incorporate things to tie it into the larger mythology, but once Ridley Scott took back over and started making Prometheus and stuff, this all got wiped out of continuity because it clashed with the story he was telling.
Mm-hmm.
So this is its own little side continuity. But I had, when this opens and we first get the shot of like the space and then the ship. And then we go down, we see like the people in the lab. Oh, did you hear that? I was like, oh, fuck. This is like those late 90s movies, like Independence Day, Those they always had those scenes. And I immediately was in. I was like, yeah, okay, this is comfort food. I'm into this. Then we start my other favorite movie trope, which is introducing the team. You have to recruit the team.
Yeah.
And I quite like this bit too, especially our main character, meeting her. She's climbing up a mountain.
Yeah, and gets a phone call.
She's that important. She has a satellite phone.
Yeah.
And she just pops in her earpiece.
Yeah.
And she's good to go. Lex is her name. And she is like an ice guide. She's a guide for like Antarctica. Yeah. And she's literally scaling a mountain. And the shots of this mountain are beautiful. The cinematography in this movie is really good. I like it. I quite like it, actually. And I got the only thing it was missing was like for her to put on some sunglasses and the Mission Impossible theme start playing. Because legitimately, old boy is up at the top of the mountain. He's like, we're already here. It's so great. Such a great movie moment. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I love it. I love his voice too. He's got a great voice.
Yes. We know him from multiple movies, of course. What's the first movie you think of?
Resident Evil.
He was, and he almost suffers a similar fate to Resident Evil.
He does, actually, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
He is also Robinson in the Pierce Brosnan, Charles Robinson in the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies. Yep, so we're introduced to her. Then we're introduced to Sebastian, who is a Italian archaeologist, and he's digging.
Yeah.
And this is a cool setup too, because it's just another. He's working. He's doing his thing. He's like a expert in his field, and they recruit him to come. And then we're introduced to the whole team. Like everybody's just we're introduced to the National Geographic guy. What the heck's his name? The chemical engineer. Dr. Miller. Miller's his name.
Yeah.
We're introduced to him sitting he's in the helicopter with her. Yeah. And we find out kind of how badass she is because she knows all this stuff, and find out how non-badass he is because he doesn't know what any of it means.
Yeah, he's along for the ride.
Yep, along for the ride. We get this big meeting scene. We're introduced to my favorite actor in the whole movie. It should be everybody's favorite actor in the whole movie. Lance motherfucking Hendrickson.
Yes.
I love him in this movie a lot.
And he has a direct tie to the Alien universe.
He does. He is Bishop in Aliens.
Yep.
Which
sure is.
Basically, according to this timeline, Bishop was based off of Weyland. His design was based off of Weyland.
Mm-hmm. I picked up on that.
Yep. So, what do you guys think of Lance in this one?
He's so cool. He's just great. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
He's got a voice. I mean, it's a scratchy voice, but man, anytime he speaks, you're just like, say something else.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic voice. Yeah, I love his voice. And he's got a great presence and gravitas to him, too.
It's so recognizable, too. Like, you hear him talking, you're like, oh, I know exactly who's talking right now.
Yes. This is our second movie featuring Lance Hendrickson on the podcast, the first being Pumpkinhead, which he's also fantastic in.
Yes.
Lance Hendrickson been in some really bad movies over the years, and he's always fantastic in all of them. Like, I've never seen Lance Hendrickson give a bad performance.
He doesn't phone it in.
No, he works for his money. So basically, we get a bunch of character development bits here where we're just kind of building the world out. We're building the mission, which is they found this pyramid underneath Antarctica. And it looks like it's made by multiple different civilizations, multiple different cultures.
Yep.
So they're wanting to stake their claim to it as an archaeological find. And that's why Lex is brought there to be the guide, to guide their men to this place. And there's this big explode. We don't know what it is at the time, and we know it's the goddamn predators, but they don't know what it is. This big beam burrows a hole into the ground, essentially.
The ice.
Once they arrive at this, into the ice. Once they arrive to this ghost town.
Yeah, because one of the groups that they bring with them is a drilling team,
mm-hmm.
right? Because they have analyzed this, and it's 2,000 feet above the ice shelf, as far as the location of the pyramid. So they're expecting to set up a base and have to spend an entire week drilling down to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they get there, and there's a giant tunnel. First off, I'd have been like, "Yep, I'm out."
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. No way I'd go down. 100%.
Because whatever made that is better than what we got.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen by accident.
I love how he's like, who do you think could do this? He's like, nobody can do this. Like, our equipment with our guys, we can't do this. I don't know what made it. He's like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go down to find out. I'd have been like, no, I'm going back to the boat. I'll see you guys.
Not only that, but like it's not only just this giant tube of ice. Like when you look behind them, it literally like it had to be a fucking laser beam from space because it took out the roof lines in a perfectly symmetrical like beam.
Yeah, perfect symmetrical beam, exactly. It didn't even like rip it off. It just yeah. But I love this ghost town setting here. I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. There's a backstory too.
Yeah, because in the 1900s, basically people went missing, and it became a ghost town.
Yep.
Yeah, and nobody knows why. It's because every 100 years, the predators return to hunt, which we find out later in the movie. They return to hunt the alien.
There's a really good scene, real quick, on the way to the site. Right there's a big, bright, beautiful full moon, and so the archaeologist is talking to the guide, and he was like, that we have a phrase for a moon like that, and he tells it to her in Spanish, and I don't remember.
Italian,
yeah. And it turns out the translation is it's a hunter's moon. It really sets the mood.
Yeah. So this tunnel is a really cool set design, I think. I like the way that it grooved out so it looks like an actual like tunnel. And I like how when they're climbing down it, they're just popping lights in as they're going down. I thought that was really neat. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. So when they get down there, and not long after they get down there, the shit starts to go down. So the three predators drop down, and they just lay waste to those folks waiting in the ghost town.
Yep.
They just crush those guys off. And then they're waiting at the top of the pyramid, essentially, waiting to go in. And our guys find they start seeing different things. They find like a chamber that's called like the sacrificial chamber. They find these things, and they end up at this altar that has this what looks like a sarcophagus or a tomb, and it has dates on it in the Mayan calendar. So our archaeologist, what's his name again? Sebastian knows. He's like, well, this is set for 1904. What's the date today? They tell him. He sets it, and it opens it up, and it reveals 3 predator cannons.
Mm-hmm.
And Sebastian's like, don't touch him. But before he can do that, of course they grab him, and it sets off the chain reaction of everything. It closes off the pyramid, and then the queen awakens from her cryosis. Right before that, starts laying eggs, and she's tied up down in the bottom. The alien queen is chained up, and then the eggs come up and in the sacrificial room. What do you guys think of this bit?
I mean, it just sets it up like you're like, all right, this is about to go down, It's exciting.
Yeah.
I agree. I love the the whole setup of this movie. Really, it fits with like what we would think of a predator, and we've established that the aliens are no joke, right?
Yes.
In all the previous movies, like they are an apex predator.
Yeah, there was 4 of them before this. Yeah.
Yeah, and so just think of putting, because this whole thing was designed to get people down there, and I think at one point, and I don't know if it's coming up or they've already touched on it, like they translated an entire story.
Yeah, it's a little bit later, but yeah. You can talk about it. Yeah.
Yep, and so like in that lore, the predators found this backwater planet, I think is how they described it, and there was a primitive species, and they taught them how to build, and so in turn those people worship them as gods. And so they built these giant temples that they would essentially allow them to, they would give up sacrificial people who would go in and willingly become infected with the aliens so that they could have their hunt. And so that's what this chamber is. This chamber is, give us your lambs for slaughter so that we can perform our ritual.
Yeah, and it also shows that once the if the predators lose, if they're losing, and to allow the aliens not to escape, they wipe out everything.
Yep. You're right.
So it's a high stakes game here, but this is a game they play every 100 years. They come back down to Earth and they have this hunt. So when the eggs pop up and they grab their guns and they're just looking at it. I don't know about you guys, but when those eggs popped up and I saw stuff moving in them, I'd just shoot it.
Yep.
I would take no chances. Boom, 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 boom. Like, not taking any chances, guys. Not for me.
Just destroy all the evidence and the find.
Fuck it. It's better them than me. That's what I say. So this is when the fun begins, because the aliens hatch out of these people, and our teams get split up multiple times. And we'll just go this section with different pieces of people. Okay, let's start with the two that get separated, first, which is the Miller and then the soldier. They get split up together, and they're being hunted by the alien. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this bit. What do you guys think of this little cat and mouse bit with the alien? Because
where they're in shafts.
Where they're in a shaft, yeah.
Yeah, no, man, that's a no-go. That it is. It's a good scene, and it is a cat and mouse in these dark tunnels. And no, I'd have done it for him. Wow. I've been like, man, there's no way I'm making it out of here,
dude.
But you have kids, so you can't give up. That's his
that's
reasoning.
Why they both fighting. Yep.
Yes, I guess you're right, Lydia. So I guess I'll be left to be sacrificed.
Dude, that guy was like, yeah, I have a son, and he's like, well, I have 2 kids, and that's why we have to keep going.
We have to get out of here.
Okay.
All right, if you say so.
Fine.
Yeah. Definitely an opposite, that one.
So yeah, I like that scene a lot. I especially like when after the aliens kill the soldier. Miller is like walking around there, or crawling around, and we see the one alien scurry towards him. That's a pretty cool shot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that would make me shit myself. That'd be terrible. Meanwhile, the predator attacks our humans, because first we have our very first, and about an hour into the movie, we have our first encounter of an alien versus a predator. We have our first scene of it.
Yep.
And the one predator gets killed quickly because he's about to kill Lex when he gets stabbed from behind by the alien, which kills him. And then the second predator and this alien have this drag out fight that actually slaps. What do you guys think of this fight between this alien and predator?
Yeah,
it's amazing, and only because you've never seen an alien. So aliens in all the other movies are like the thing you don't fuck with. Mm-hmm. Right, you're running from it, and these things are hunting it. And like when he grabs it by the tail and swings it around, and like,
yeah, that's my favorite bit.
Destroying fucking pillars of this pyramid. You're just like, it's like a championship fight. You're like, yeah, it's really good. It's really cool. Throws him around, cuts off his tail. He starts to bleed acid, and then he thinks he has him, and then the alien like shoots his teeth right through his head, kills him. So there's only one predator left. Yep.
With all these aliens. So this predator fights one of the aliens. I love the bit where he shoots so the predator attacks our people, and our friend from the first Resident Evil gets caught in that net, and it literally starts to like cut him away, just like what happens to him in Resident Evil.
Yep.
Then he gets killed. Waylon decides to try to face this predator because he's terminally ill. He's dying.
Yeah.
So he goes to sacrifice himself to fight this alien threat off, so the other people escape. Because what's interesting in this movie is it sets up. You're thinking Waylon's going to be the secret bad guy, right? Lance Hendrickson. He's head of this this corporation. But instead he's like kind of a good guy, and he's just like wants his life to mean something. So when the predator grabs him and he sees that he's riddled with cancer or whatever he's riddled with, and he just drops him because he's not a threat and there's no honor in killing him. So then he decides, when he's walking away, he says, "Don't turn your back on me," and he fucking lights him on fire with his spray and a flare, and like then he gets fucked up by the predator, like stabs him.
Yeah.
But what a way to go out, right? Go out saving
sure.
other people instead of just on your back,
Yeah, there's a very
die with your boots
poignant
on.
moment. Yeah, there's a very poignant moment in this whenever he is Waylon is talking to the guide.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to convince her to go, because at first, kind of backtracking here, at first she's like, I don't have the amount of time that I would need to prep your team. I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want that blood on my hands. And so he has a heart to heart with her, and he tells her, whenever he dies, what's going to matter? He was like, the stock to my company is going to drop 10%.
Yeah. Like that's when he's wanting her to, when she's wanting him to stay ashore while they go down because he's so sick. But he said he's going anyway. But yeah, he said what, and then she shares with him the story of her father and how he died climbing, Everest or whatever it was. They climbed a mountain and he broke his leg. Yeah, because he broke his leg on the way up, fought through, made it, and then blood clot and died on the way down. And he says, "What do you think your father's last thoughts were? The pain or the memory of drinking champagne with his daughter at 14,000 feet?" And it's like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yep.
So, so they all die except for our two leads, essentially, which is Sebastian and Lexi. They're the only two left alive. And our main predator gets into a fight with a couple aliens. And he kills the one alien. What do you think of that second fight between the alien and predator?
So this is the one where he cuts its head in half, right?
Yeah.
This is the one with this little hand blade, and he just because the alien's coming up behind him, and he's just like,
yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And his head splits in half.
And then also that he freaking uses the net and catches the one alien, and he's got the cool mesh scarring.
Yeah.
With the alien blood. That's cool.
That is really so cool.
That. So he does this ritual. He takes off his helmet and carves into it with the acid blood, then carves into his own head with the acid blood. And then a facehugger jumps at him and we cut. Pin in that, we'll come to that later.
Yeah.
So as he's with the as they're trying to escape, Sebastian and Lexi, they jump over this giant chasm, and he gets killed by aliens. He's taken out. And, well, not killed at the moment. He's just taken away by the aliens. And she climbs up, and she's face-to-face with the predator. And they have already made an agreement that they're going to give him his gun because the enemy of their enemy is their friend.
Mm-hmm.
So she gives him the gun, and they are attacked by another alien. And we have a big drag out fight here, which is pretty cool. where she ends up killing the alien by stabbing him with the Predator's weapon. And it's so cool because it's like, it looks like it's dead, and she goes to move, and then it shoots this, second mouth right here close to its face as it's dying, and then finally dies. So the Predator discovers that he cuts its tail and he drops the blood on it and realizes that the alien's acid blood doesn't affect its skin.
So I actually think he was showing her.
Yeah, that's probably it. But we see that it doesn't affect the skin.
Yeah.
So
because he makes her
off
a
its
shield.
head. Yeah, chops off his head, makes her a shield, and makes her a stabby weapon with the tail.
Its tail. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, that hopefully that comes in handy. That's going to be pretty cool. Guys, what do you think of this next scene where she goes in and finds old Sebastian covered in goo with an alien inside of him?
It's hard.
It's sad,
It's sad.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
it's a great scene, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say
say.
like the whole thing with the Predators, like, you can say what you want about them, but like they are an honorable race. Like they are hunters, and so if he gains respect for her.
As the movie goes on, absolutely.
Yeah, she killed an alien, and then in this scene, she has to do the hard thing because he's about to kill the guy, and she's like, "No, don't do it." And then she has to shoot him. And I just think that was one more thing that like gave more respect to her from the Predator. That kind of like, because they're bonding at this point.
Yeah, and absolutely, and it gains more respect. I agree. Yeah. In the earlier scene, he's using his cannon blaster and just blasting away alien. Yeah. And then the Queen yells for him, and they all disperse.
Scurry, yeah.
And they go to the Queen, and they start biting her so she bleeds. And that way the acid eats through the chains. So the Queen is free.
Yep, she's a big old thing.
And she's
cool.
She's so cool. Yeah, let's take a minute to talk about her real fast. What do you guys think of her design in this one?
I love the design. She looks so like big and heavy, and
yeah, she has a lot of weight to her.
Yeah,
yeah,
they did a great job with that.
Yeah, making her, she doesn't feel floaty, which is a problem with especially early 2000s CG, is that they feel kind of weightless. But they do a good job of giving her heft, so she kind of feels like she's in the environment. I think they also used a ton of animatronics as well.
Yeah.
Like when she's hanging and stuff, they use big puppets and stuff.
Yeah.
So that also always sells it. Yeah, that always sells it. Go ahead.
Speaking of like the special effects and designs, creature design and stuff like that, I feel like this, the quality is a little bit less on some of these.
On the Predators, I feel like
they kind of are like, they kind of look rubbery sometimes. Even with like the face huggers or whatever, like certain little things, like you're like, oh, that looks really rubbery, which kind of took me out of it a little bit because in the other ones they look so good.
Yeah, I think it's more of an issue with lighting in camera angles.
I was kind of thinking that too.
I think a lot of it was the lighting, which is fine because I'd rather it look rubbery than to not be able to see it like AVP 2, where you just don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick the medium, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd be like, give me the one that looks a little rubbery, but I can see what's going on.
They still look great. I just had to point out like some things about it are a little different than old ones.
I was noticing it more in the Predator himself, in his face, in his mouth. His mouth looks less good than McTiernan's Predator.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like you can kind of see the inside more, and it looks like it's just a animatronic as opposed to McTiernan's, which looked like a functioning mouth. You know what I mean?
Yep. the side pieces, like how he's got that like side skin that stretches.
Yeah,
it isn't like fully unstretched. Like it's not a stretchy piece, so it just looks like rubber. Like,
yeah.
But yeah,
and they're not terrible or anything. But
it still looks really good.
But yeah, they are definitely a step down in quality from McTiernan's movie and Predator 2, because it's the same makeup. Predator 2 looks great too. We'll have to do that one day. So this final battle with the Queen. So they blow up the whole place. They set up. He sets off a bomb. And I love how he communicates it with her. Like he beeps it and then he points at it and goes, and she's like, it's a bomb. And he's like, let's go. So we have this one last little fight with the aliens where the one alien stabs him in the shoulder and she saves his life. And then they're able to jump onto the sled. That's because they're cranking it up. And they jump on it and ride out as it's blowing up. It's total action movie stuff. What do you guys think of this bit?
Yeah, it's pretty good action.
Yeah, very suspenseful. At this point, they know the Queen is free, right?
Right. That's why they're just blowing up and getting the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lost hunt.
Yeah. So I love that when they're gliding up it and it's exploding. It's such like a, 90s action movie cliche thing that I just adore. And I was like, yeah. And the fact that they're like kind of like a buddy cop duo at this point, they're total opposites. But now, he's the uptight by the book officer. She's a loose cannon. But the way he McClanes onto the thing and then flies off is great. And then we get the final battle with the Queen. What do you guys think of this big, giant, bombastic final battle?
It's so good. It's so cool.
What do you think, Derek?
I liked it a lot. I really love the end of the battle.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. But so they're running through. She's chasing the human at this point. She's running through these giant whale bones.
Yeah, that's really cool.
She hides. Yeah, and she hides under a big water tower.
Yeah,
which is metal and it's super heavy. And she's busting this thing, trying to knock it down to get to her. And dude, the move that the Predator does here,
it's so cool. It's my favorite.
So cool. It is. Yeah. It reminds me of the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. He like flips over and just like stabs it right in the head.
Backwards.
Yeah, throws that thing right in her head.
He stabs it like from like behind his head. Like that is so cool.
Yeah, it rules. The way it looks, and then so it's stabbed and it's kind of all like disoriented, I guess you would say. And they use that because it still has that chain from when it freed itself. So she's trying to tie it around the water tower. The Predator comes over and helps her pull it. And so they pull it together and tie it around the thing. And then the Predator Queen stabs him in the chest with her tail. Mm-hmm. And they're like face to face again. And she's about to do her tooth, shoot out the second mandibles. And Lex pops it. But we got to talk about, before we talk about that, there's a great bit right before that, before the Queen pops out, where he takes out the Predator, he takes out the alien finger from the face hugger, and he marks her with it because she has an alien kill. So makes her part of his culture and marks her, showing the ultimate respect. Yeah. And then that's when the alien comes, and so she pops the tower over, and then the Queen gets dragged into the depths of the sea, the frozen ocean. And unfortunately, our Predator dies. He succumbs to his wounds. She goes over and they have a moment. where they're face to face, and she kneels by him as he passes, and then we see it uncloaked Predator, Predator uncloak above her, and she's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And they go and they take him into the ship, and the oldest Predator with like the crazy brows, he sees her marking and knows the respect. So he gifts her with a weapon, just like they do Danny Glover at the end of part 2.
Yeah.
Gifts her with a Predator spear. And then they fly off, and she goes to the little ice machine so she can get back. What do you guys think of this ending before we get to the very end? What do you guys think of the ending of Lexi's story?
It's so cool. She is like, I don't know, like, I guess, like, there's not many characters like her in the horror genre kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, there is in this franchise, not in the Predator franchise. Now there is with, Prey.
Mm-hmm.
But there definitely is in the Alien franchise.
But the difference is that she like befriends the Predator.
Right.
Like, which is insane. I mean, I know like in Predator 2, he gives him the weapon or whatever, but like,
no, she actually fights alongside a Predator.
She fights alongside, and that is the coolest thing to me. And like when I was young watching this, I was like, she is like my hero. Like I want to be that. I used to do like the little war paint like symbol on my face and stuff. Like I wanted to be her. So like I'm so glad that this movie did get made, even if people remember it poorly. Like I think it was amazing. I love her character. I think she did a great job as acting as this character as well.
What do you think of this ending, Derek?
I think it's awesome. I love the fact that it's a bunch of them, right? You see the main Predator and the couple that come and take the body away, but like, there's a lot of people, a lot of Predators on that ship, and so for them seeing the humans as a lesser species, and then seeing one that he knows has killed an alien and like fought beside one of their kin, like that's a kind of a powerful moment for us as humans in this movie, because there's a level of respect there that I don't know that they've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There is
Predators, except
for the other 3 humans that have defeated Predator. If we're I mean, at this point it was only 2, but now we know timeline is 3. But besides Dutch, who takes out a Predator, and Harrington, who takes out a Predator. So I mean, I don't think they think we're the inferior species anymore, which is why they hunt us. Which is why they send people down to hunt us, but they do it as fairly as possible. But yeah, it's definitely the ultimate sign of respect that he marks her, and that they are, they become like allies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, guys, we get to the very ending of this movie, which sets up a sequel, which unfortunately does get made. What do you guys think of this tag ending? We're on the Predator ship. They leave him laying there, and a Pred alien pops out of his chest.
Yes. I remember being so excited about that.
It's really cool.
Seeing
what do you think, Derek?
His little jaws.
Yeah, his jaws. Yeah.
He's so cute.
No, it's a great cliffhanger. It really is. And it answers that question. You were like, put a pin in it. What happened when he took his face mask off?
Yep.
And so, yeah, I've seen the sequel one time, and it's been so long ago, I really don't have a memory of it.
Did you see it?
I did.
You listened to it.
You saw something on the screen at points.
Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing the next movie in this, just to see what it turned into. But I know I've seen it once. But yeah, no, I loved it. the only question I have.
I like it too. I have a question. I wonder if you're going to have the same question I have.
Go ahead.
Okay, my question is this. We established earlier in this movie that the aliens, or that the predators can see the aliens inside them. So did they purposely leave the alien in there, or is it just a plot hole? I'm guessing probably a plot hole.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because we make a point of it multiple times through the movie.
Yeah.
When he looks at Waylon's chest, when he looks inside and sees the alien in the other dude's stomach. When, we know this, he can see that, but why do all these 500 predators not see it?
We know that they can see through human bodies.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be able to see through themselves.
I mean, their blood is way different than ours. And I mean, it probably is a plot hole. I'm just trying to think of a reason why.
Yeah.
Like maybe they can't see, or maybe it's a best practice. Like, we don't invade your privacy.
Yeah, no.
But at worst, you would have to have a protocol, knowing that you just went to fight an alien species. That the whole thing that they do is grab onto your face and infest you.
Yeah.
There would have to be like, we're taking this thing to quarantine.
Yeah, yeah. Lydia, you were going to share something with us.
Did you see it?
Yeah, go ahead and show it again so we can talk about it.
That was the queen, right?
Yeah.
Let's
I just wanted to show you guys the scale.
Yeah, share it with us. Yeah. Yeah, that's really great. Look at that freaking puppet. That is amazing. That's just amazing work. Can you imagine, walking on set and seeing that thing, Derek?
Nope.
We'd have to, kiss whoever made that for us. I'd be like, oh my God!
The headpiece alone is huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
But, I mean, it's not as big as it looks in...
Obviously, yeah.
A bit of a side tangent, but have you ever seen, some of the behind-the-scenes photos of Underworld?
Yeah.
The Lycans?
Yeah.
The Lycans.
There were people in there walking around in those freaking suits. Could you imagine just putting one of those people in a dark alley in
that's what I want.
Popular. You'd have to have someone there to make sure they don't get shot. But man, you could scare the bejesus out of some people.
Look at that little cutie.
Yeah, it's
Oh, here's this. I was looking at this picture too.
Oh, yeah.
Look how big she is.
There's definitely a callback in this. She says a
predator line. Yeah.
Yeah. You're one ugly mother.
Yeah.
They had to cut it.
She says it to the alien.
Yep, and they have to cut it because of this movie being PG-13, which is another thing we didn't really touch on. I think this movie definitely would have benefited from being R-rated. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Could have went way more hardcore.
Although I probably would have seen it.
I don't need to be hardcore, but yeah, it would have been less neutered. Definitely. Some of those scenes wouldn't have abruptly ended like they do. Like the chest burster, we see the beginning of the chest burst and then it's over. We don't actually get to see the chest burst.
Mm.
We always see the aftermath. And she can't say motherfucker because of it.
Didn't the Predator catch a chest burster and
snaps his neck? Yeah. Snapped his little neck. So guys, that's AVP. Lydia, let's start with you. Since you picked this, what are you going to give AVP?
Oh man, this is kind of tough. I mean, it's a good movie. It's definitely dated. It's so hard to rank these sometimes because we've done such amazing ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You always have to just, you kind of have to judge on a scale because, I mean, if you're considering a 10 is Jaws, then everything else is almost like a 5 by default.
Right. Exactly. And I don't think this movie is a 5, you know?
No.
Maybe I'll go with maybe I'll go with a 7. Because like, would I recommend it to people? Like, yes, but not like, it's not like my first recommendation, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with 7. This movie really does mean a lot to me though. I just remember like, and that's just my perspective of being so young when I watched it, and being a girl, you know, it's probably a huge difference from like a little boy watching it, of seeing like the main character through like something that I could be, you know, like I could be climbing that mountain, and I could be like having the little war scar on my face. And so I think this movie is so good. It's so fun.
Derek, what do you think?
I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I think it's a fun movie. It's entertaining. From what we know of both the species, like this is definitely like whenever they were developing the story, I think they had a really good plot to an Alien versus Predator movie. I like it a lot. And so, you know, the kills are amazing. And it's always, you know, it's great for them to answer that what if question that you always have with these. I'm going to give this movie an 8. I liked it a lot.
Oh, okay. That's a little high for my blood, I will say. But then again, you did like Lumberjack Man.
Okay. I stand by that. I stand by Lumberjack Man. LBJ for life.
So here's the thing. I was expecting going into this movie fully prepared to give this thing a 5 or 6 because of my because of my experience watching it. But I'm gonna say I had a fun time watching this time. I really did. It kind of shocked me how much I enjoyed it, because it's non-consequential fun. It's just, you know, almost fanfic, you know, just this fun creature versus creature. It's like Freddy versus Jason, which we'll get to eventually once we get to that point in the series. But it's just, you know, like these just iconic franchises coming together with a big monster bash and a plot that actually makes sense and is not, because it could be derivative and terrible.
Right.
But what they did is they took elements from the amazing comic book and put them into this. If they would have just adapted the comic book, this movie would have been fucking even better. Like, really? Way better. Yeah. But it is fine for what it is. So I went into this, you know, with low expectations, and it exceeded my expectations because I think it's pretty decently shot. I think it's well directed. It's fun. The fight scenes work, and they are a blast to watch. So I'm going to give this movie a 7 as well. 8's more rarefied air. That's like for Predator and Alien and, you know, the Freddy sequels. But I had a good time with it. 7. And I was also shocked at how well a lot of the CG holds up. And it's because they use it sparingly. And when they use it, it's also darkly lit. So it doesn't have that sheen, that shine, that early 2000 CG gives it away that it's early 2000 CG.
Yeah,
you know?
It's almost like the CG was even better than like the editing of like some of the shots that are edited that's like clearly early 2000s.
Yeah.
The CG holds up better than those shots too.
Those 2000 shots are what the 2000 editing is what it is.
You can't get away from it.
This one's not that bad though. It's not that fast cutting bullshit.
Right. It almost wants to though.
Yeah, it's right there because it's like you can tell he doesn't go full Resident Evil on it. Is the thing. He doesn't go full Resident Evil. He restrains himself, pulls himself back, so that way he's like, remember, this is part of Alien and Predator. We gotta honor those guys. So let's just make it a little less. You know what I'm talking about when I make that sound. You know what that is.
I mean, I thought of a Triple X movie, but
well, that could go both ways because I was thinking more Vin Diesel Triple X.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a good time with this, guys. Good pick, Lydia. Wasn't near as painful. If you would have picked the second one first, I would have been like, nope.
Well, hopefully we can watch something else. Something in a different.
We'll come back to the Alien franchise, Alien Predator franchise, at a later date because we've spent 3 weeks on them now.
3 weeks, guys.
Yeah, I know. So now it's Derek's pick.
Oh,
Derek,
no.
Before you give us your pick, we have to do one thing. We have to Atkinize this movie.
Thrill me.
Who would Tom Atkins play in this?
Let's see. Can't replace Lance.
No, he's great. I mean, that would be the most obvious choice.
Yeah. I mean, he would do well. But
yeah.
Lance is just... He's got to stay.
We could make him the main predator.
You're muted.
You almost made it through the whole episode.
You almost did it.
I almost did, man. I'm going to blame it on one of you two.
Dang it.
I thought you were going to do it earlier, Lydia, but you knew that you were muted. And you unclicked yourself.
Yeah, I noticed it. I was like, shoot. I said like one thing. I didn't
get
caught. Like Derek always does.
That's because he starts to tell like eloquent stories. He's like, I think what would be funny one day is just to let him talk for like a whole minute span, and then just be like, "You're muted."
Yeah, at least we're not that mean so far.
Yeah, we tell you immediately. Go ahead, buddy.
Anyway, this is all rude. Bishop, you can replace him with Bishop. He's a crucial character. He would, add some like grit to him.
So you think you'd go with Lance? You'd replace Lance Hendrickson?
He's not Bishop. Bishop is his assistant. I'm pretty sure.
That's his assistant's name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Charles. No, his Lance Hendrickson is Bishop. Is Charles Bishop Whalen?
Damn it! What was his guy's name?
That's Maxwell Stafford.
Yeah, he looks like a Maxwell.
So you would replace him? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I just got the name mixed up, but I think that he would bring some. He did a fine job. I'm just saying. I think that. If we got rid of him though, we'd have like nobody of color in the movie. I mean,
the main character.
Yeah, well, I guess the main character, but one is it's like, well, we got our one.
Right.
Besides that, I think, you could replace him with him, or you can even replace him as the one of the that I think that would be the best choice because I don't want to get rid of Lance Henriksen either. So him, I would say.
The Italian guy, maybe.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, because then he would be like throughout most of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so him, I agree. Good call. Sorry, Italian guy, you're going bye for Tom Atkins. All right, so Derek, it's your pick. What are we watching next week?
I really thought about revisiting the Critters franchise. I decided not to go that route. I will save that for a future date.
Good.
I think that we should take a different route. It's still horror, but it's more comedy. I think that next week we should watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
No way.
That's a good one. That's a good choice. Okay.
Yeah, Derek, I think I sent that to you like what do you
Telepathic?
say? Telepathically. I think I sent that to you. I manifested it. I was thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing. I love this movie.
I do too.
I was thinking something completely different, which we will watch next week probably. But that's a good one. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Let me see where that is streaming.
I own this one, so
nice. This is such a good one.
It is available on Vudu for free, Pluto TV for free, Tubi for free, Redbox for free, Plex for free, Crackle for free. So that's a ton of places you can watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's a lot of places. Tubi's the way to go, though, isn't it, Derek?
It is. It's to be or not to be.
All right, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil next week. Derek, do you have a story this week?
You know, I have an entire week to prep for these, and I never think of anything. I can tell you the time that my brother, who I've established when we were younger, he weighed like 350 pounds. Anyway, maybe more than that. By the way, so we were at the fair one time. Okay. And he was getting off the merry-go-round, I think. Ferris wheel. Getting off the Ferris wheel, okay? A rock about this
It's a strong
big.
Ferris wheel.
It was. A rock about this big, man. Took my brother out. Literally, he stepped on it and broke his ankle.
Oh my God.
I know. And so like his ankle swelled up so big. And so they had to like take him to the emergency room. And another story associated with the Ferris wheel and my brother. This one's mean. So I was on the Ferris wheel with like Joey, maybe. And I looked down and I'm like, oh man, there's my brother with his like classy friends. And I'm like, dude, watch this. Dude, I totally hawked a loogie and spit right on his head. And he was like, I know. Lydia, that's
so
nothing.
gross.
No, Lydia, no. Let me tell you something about what my brother did to me when I was little. Okay, this is a therapy session right here. Are you ready?
Go ahead. I'm ready.
So, like, my cousin spent the night one night, and like we were always up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and we would always do this thing like whoever falls asleep first, we're gonna like put their hand in an icy water and try to make it to themselves. Right? This is just something that guys did. I don't know if the girls did it or not, but dude, I woke up one morning, literally, and there was like a giant ball of flames over my face.
Oh my God.
I mean, I was like, what's going on? Like, I got up, I went in and like was banging on my mom's door, and she came out there. My brother had gotten a lighter and a can of hairspray. And for whatever reason, hey, Derek's asleep, watch this.
You about lit your face on fire?
Yeah. Just because he was trying to show off, I guess. I don't know. So he deserved that loogie.
Yeah. Hey.
I don't know if anyone deserves that.
That's what... You're not wrong about sleepovers, though, Derek.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not proud to say that I was the king of getting people when they fell asleep first at sleepovers. But I'll tell a quick one. I stayed the night with my cousin. She's older than me. She used to babysit me when I was a kid, so I was older at this point. I was staying the night with my cousin that was a little bit younger than us, and we had like a birthday party. All the kids came over and stayed the night. Her boyfriend at the time comes home super drunk late at night and goes into the bedroom and passes out. So I get the shaving cream can, and I load up his hand with it, and I start tickling his face, and he starts just rubbing shaving cream all over his face. I mean, it's all over. By the end of it, he like had a mountain of shaving cream on his head because he just was so passed out, so drunk that he just.
Oh.
And then he eventually wakes up and realizes that his whole face and hand and arm is covered in shaving cream, and he's like, "What's going on?" So he gets up and cleans himself, and he's like, "I'll get you, Jamie." He's like, "Don't ever fall asleep around me. I'm going to shave your eyebrows." And he never did, because I never went over there and fell asleep.
Well, that's a good plan.
It never failed. Every single time that we would make this bet, every time, my cousin would be the first one to fall asleep. Every time. And always before he fell asleep, he'd be like so tired. He'd be like, "Guys, let's just call this off. Guys, don't do anything to me when I fall asleep." Every time he was always the first one to fall asleep.
It's great times.
Yep.
So, guys, anything else you want to add about Alien vs. Predator before we say goodbye? Are you down with AVP? Well, you know me.
Anyhow,
90s kids represent.
It was good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Way better than I thought. We recommend it. Be sure to follow us on social media. You can find us online at HiLa Productions, where you can find out all of our shorts. You can see what upcoming events are. You can get merchandise like the Scream Bloody Movie shirt I'm wearing now. You can follow us on social media on Facebook at HiLa Productions. Follow us on Instagram at HiLa or at Scream Bloody Movies. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Racket. You can follow Lydia at Lydia Spooky. You can follow Derek at DDoglyMaster. You can also find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you get your listening audio pleasures. You can find this podcast there as well. Be sure to comment down below on what movies you want us to do next. What are your thoughts on Alien vs. Predator? And would you guys like to see another one? Would you like to see a third Alien and Predator movie? Because we haven't talked about the second one yet. We'll get there one day. But we felt like it was a good time to leave the aliens and predators behind for a while. We didn't want this to become Scream, Bloody Predators and Aliens. So be sure to comment down below on what your thoughts are and what movies you'd like us to do in the future. If there's nothing else, for Lydia, Judy, and Derek Lemaster, I'm Jamie Hiles. And remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.